All right, welcome. Good afternoon. Thank you for being here. My name is Katie Earle. I'm the coordinator of the University Express program, and I work for the Erie County Department of Senior Services. We're joined here virtually today with Nikia Clark, again from Roswell, and we're happy to have her and appreciate her time. And before we get started, we'll just go over some quick housekeeping things. We are recording this session, and I'll try to post it online at a later date. And also, if you have any questions or comments for us, please don't hesitate to put them in the Q&A panel. We'll be happy to try to get to as many of those as we can for the time we have today. So I want to thank the sponsors of our University Express program, which is my Department of Senior Services, Blue Cross Blue Shield of Western New York, Excelsior Orthopedics, and Wegmans, because they help make this program possible. And I always am going to let you know that Senior Services is here if you have any questions about program services or supports for yourself or a loved one. We're at 858-8526. Without further ado, I will introduce Nikia. Nikia Clark is a health education specialist in the Office of Community Outreach and Engagement at Roswell Park Comprehensive Cancer Center. Nikia has over 12 years experience developing and implementing health-related curricula, trainings, presentations, and workshops. She is known for her tremendous outreach efforts and involvement in health disparities research, especially in the Western New York community. Nikia's outreach and education work focuses on breast, cervical, lung, and colorectal cancers, as well as nutrition and health behavior changes. Nikia holds several certifications, including patient navigator and tobacco treatment specialist, and we really appreciate you being here, Nikia. I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you, Katie. Hello, everyone that's tuning in and that'll be listening to this on the recording. It's great to be back with you all. And today's topic I'm going to talk about is one of the main keys in ways that we educate people to prevent or lower their cancer risk, and that is through nutrition. So we're going to take some time today and talk about nutrition and cancer. And so nutrition and cancer, they really have a strong relationship. They in many ways and through research, they go hand in hand. And in this quote that's up on the screen, it says that it has been estimated by the World Cancer Research Fund that 1/4, so 1/3 of cancers that occur in the United States are due to poor nutrition, physical inactivity, and excess weight. And all of those, and thus could be prevented. So when we look at the cancer that occurs in the United States, a large portion of the cancers that occur can possibly be prevented because many of them are due to poor nutrition, physical inactivity, and excess weight. And so we're going to spend a little bit of time talking about that as we talk about the 10 United States dietary guidelines. And through these guidelines, you're going to learn different ways that you can incorporate into your lifestyle to help you reduce your risk of cancer or prevent your risk or prevent cancer. So we can go through them. The first one is to aim for a healthy weight. Number one is aim for a healthy weight. So maintaining a healthy weight helps to prevent cancer. Obesity is a risk factor for breast cancer among postmenopausal women, colon cancer, cancer of the esophagus, gallbladder cancer, cancer of the pancreas, and kidney cancer. So obesity ties into all those cancers listed. Again, breast cancer, colon cancer, cancer of the esophagus, gallbladder cancer, cancer of the pancreas, and kidney cancer. Some tips to help you maintain a healthy weight is number one, you try to balance your calorie intake with physical exercise. So you want, and we'll talk about this more throughout the presentation, you want to look at how many calories whatever you're eating has. And you want to also balance that with how much exercise you do to burn off the calories, okay? You want to reduce your food portion sizes. That's very important. Limit high-calorie foods, those foods that are high in fat. They usually include refined sugars. You want to replace them with more vegetables and whole grains. And you want to use the plate method when planning your meals, and we'll talk about that as well. So the plate method is what you see visually when you're when you think about what you're eating for a meal. And so the New American Plate method, they call it, is it includes 2/3 or more vegetables, fruits, whole grains, and beans on your plate. And it includes 1/3 or less of animal protein. So the new plate method is really pushing for you to eat more grains, fruits, and vegetables, and smaller portions of your protein, animal proteins, okay? And some people have that hard time kind of visualizing what a serving size looks like, because when you're talking about portions and eating the right portions or eating in moderation, you want to know what a serving size looks like. And this graphic on the screen kind of just gives you an idea of what a serving size looks like a 3 ounces of, the first picture is 3 ounces of meat is about the size and thickness of a deck of playing cards or an audio tape cassette. The second one is a medium apple or peach is about the size of a tennis ball. A 1 ounce of cheese is about the size of 4 stacked dice. A half cup of ice cream is about the size of a racquetball or a tennis ball. A cup of mashed potatoes or broccoli is about the size of your fist. 1 teaspoon of butter or peanut butter is about the size of the tip of your thumb, okay? And 1 ounce of nuts or small candies equals 1 handful, just what can fit in the palm of your hand. That's just a visual for you. And this just says, we're going to move into number 2 of our Dietary the guidelines, which is to be physically active each day. And so this is just a little cartoon. It says, my doctor told me to start my exercise program very gradually. Today I drove past the store that sells sweatpants. And this is a gentleman, a husband telling his wife that. But what does it mean to, increase your physical activity? Physical activity does a lot, and it also ties in hand with nutrition and cancer. So women who spend, for instance, an average 3.8 hours per week in physical activities had a lower risk of colon and reproductive cancer. So the tip is to try to be active at least 30 minutes on most days of the week. And you want to make sure that you talk to your doctor or you know what your physical limitations are for being active. I said in the previous presentation that everybody's activities levels, they differ. And so the goal is to get your heart rate up to the point where it would be hard for you to hold a conversation. If I were to pick you up or pick up the phone and give you a call, you would feel out of breath kind of holding a conversation with me. So that's the point, to get your heart rate up where you kind of feel out of breath if you had to talk to somebody. And this is just another visual of to follow the plate. And so again, this is your nutrition guide to help you choose the best foods to eat, especially the portion size. And remember, you want to fill most of your plate with fruit, grains, and vegetables. And you leave a small portion for animal protein. You want to choose a variety of grains daily, especially those that are high in fiber. We consider them whole grains. Fiber is found in the cell walls of plants and functions sort of like a skeleton for the plants to help maintain their shape and structure. Humans cannot digest fiber, so it passes through the small intestine, into the colon. And this is a good thing, though. It's good because it adds bulk to the stool, which makes elimination easier and helps the colon stay clean and healthy. So fiber is absolutely one of the things that you should really be taking into your diet, including in your diet every single day. And although we as humans can't digest fiber, that's what makes it actually good for us, because it does bulk up as it passes through the small intestine and the colon, and it helps to bulk up the stool. Like I said, it makes elimination easier, and it keeps your colon looking very healthy and clean. And so some great sources of dietary fiber include beans, whole grains, oat bran, and fruits and vegetables. So you want to make sure you're including some of those foods in your diet every single day. And when you're buying different foods, you want to look for where you can find the fiber count. And so if you look at the nutritional label to find the fiber, and I just point it, there's an arrow pointing on where the fiber is, and you're looking for what is called the dietary fiber. And so this is actually a label from Macaroni and Cheese, and as you can see, if you may be able to see that the dietary fiber is 0 grams or 0%. So that is not a good example of a food that you should be eating. You want to choose a variety of fruits and vegetables daily. Increased consumption of fruits and vegetables is associated with lower risk of cancers of the oral cavity, so that's all those cancers that are found in your mouth, the esophagus, stomach, the colon, the rectum, and the bladder. Fruits and vegetables are found to be associated with lower risk in 128 of 158 dietary studies. That's just some of the research that I've added in there. So they look at how important fruits and vegetables are, and the answer is they're very, very, very important. They can definitely help lower the risk associated, again, with cancers of the oral cavity, so those are all the cancers found in your mouth, including your tongue, esophagus, stomach, colon, the rectum, and the bladder. And did you know that people who develop cancer tend to have low intakes of raw and fresh vegetables? They don't eat as much leafy green vegetables. They don't eat as much lettuce, carrots, raw and fresh fruit. And they eat less cruciferous vegetables, and those are vegetables of the cabbage family. So that includes things like broccoli. So you want to eat, on the flip side, you want to eat more of all those that are listed. And so the tip is to eat at least 5 servings of different colored vegetables and fruit a day. More is better. And the more color you add to your plate is better too. And I'll talk about that a little bit later. Because color does matter. The color of fruits and vegetables, so if you can add things that are reds and greens and yellows and orange, you can even think of some foods that fall in those color categories. Those, the more color you have on your plate, the more nutrition you're giving your body. And so you want to stay away from colors like whites, browns, or like the golden browns, because usually you're thinking of, unless you're eating brown rice, something like brown rice or brown beans, beans that are brown, but a lot of white food, you're thinking about pastas or rices, things that are made with a lot of flour, your breads, those are heavy carbs, and so those don't have as much nutritional value as our other options. So let's take a moment to talk about free radicals. And maybe some of you have heard that term, free radicals. They are, free radicals can cause damage to cells of the body. Free radicals come from smoking, pollution, poisons, and fried foods. Okay, so most of our fried foods are that beautiful golden brown. But those are actually things that contain some free radicals. And they are also found in the body naturally. Free radical damage is associated with an increased risk of many chronic diseases. But antioxidants, and maybe many of you may have heard that word as well, reduce the damage caused by free radicals. Again, free radicals are like the robbers, which are deficient in energy. They attack and snatch the energy from other cells to satisfy themselves. So in that little picture, the free radicals are in red, and they're kind of snatching and taking away the energy from the healthy cells, which are the yellow ones. They're kind of stomping on. Again, causes of free radicals are pollution, radiation, tobacco, pesticides, and even ultraviolet rays. Now, antioxidants are a group of vitamins and minerals and enzymes that help protect the body from forming those free radicals. And so here's a few examples of some antioxidants. Again, if you think back to what's colorful, the foods that you eat, especially fruits and vegetables that are colorful, they all contain antioxidants. So some antioxidants that are red include your tomatoes, watermelon, pink grapefruit. The red and purple color families include berries and grapes, even some red wine in moderation, or prunes. In the orange family, there's carrots and mangoes and pumpkin. In the orange-yellow family, there's cantaloupe and peaches, oranges, papaya, nectarines. In the yellow and green family, there's spinach and avocado, honeydew, collard greens and turnip greens. In the green family, there's cabbage and broccoli, Brussels sprouts and cauliflower. In the white and green, there's leeks and onions, garlic and chives. And so I know many of you may be thinking of more fruits and vegetables that can go in each of those color families, and that's great. That's just an example of a few. You also want to keep your food safe to eat, and that's very important. You can have a cabinet full or a refrigerator full of really healthy foods, but if you're not keeping it and storing it in a safe manner, it could actually become toxic for you or make you sick. So you want to keep your food safe to eat. So it's important to choose foods that are in season, and locally grown produce, if possible, is better. You want to rinse your fruits and vegetables to remove the outer leaves before eating. Use proper food storage to prevent growth of fungal carcinogens. That's what I was talking about. You know, some food can make you sick. Marinate protein foods to decrease the cooking time. Use cooking methods to avoid contact of foods and food drippings with the flames. Use lower cooking temperatures with protein foods. And then cooking methods like frying, broiling, and grilling meat at high temperatures creates chemicals that might increase your cancer risk. And I don't know if many of you have heard that. So people that like a good char on their hot dogs, or some people like their meats that's grilled, you know, really cooked, you know, with a nice char on it, that actually can cause a chemical carcinogen and make the food unhealthy for you to eat. So use braising, steaming, poaching, stewing, and even microwaving more often than you do frying, broiling, or grilling meats at high temperatures, okay? And you also want to choose a diet that's low in saturated fat and cholesterol and moderate in total fat. So high intake of total unsaturated fat is associated with the increased risk of breast, colon, lung, and prostate cancers. High-fat diets are associated with obesity, which is linked with cancer of the colon, the rectum, the esophagus, the gallbladder, breast, endometrium, pancreas, and the kidney. Animal fat, so from meat and dairy, was associated with increased risk of breast cancer in the Nurses' Health Study and other studies. So again, this is saying that you really want to look at the fat intake that you're consuming in many of the foods that you eat. You want to keep a diet that's low in saturated fat and cholesterol and moderate in total fat. You want to limit total fat in your diet and choose mostly fats coming from sources of, they're called polyunsaturated or monounsaturated fatty acids. And those are such as fish, nuts, and vegetable oils, okay? When selecting and preparing your meat, poultry, dry beans, and milk or milk products, make choices that are lean, low fat or fat-free, like skim milk, or chicken without the skin. It's a really great idea to start eating, if you eat chicken, to eat it without the skin on it. And I know that we're in Buffalo, and I know that we love, love, love our chicken wings. But if you can find alternatives, everything is good in moderation. So I'm not saying stop eating the chicken wings, but if you can find alternatives and start cooking some of your chicken dishes without the skin on it, that's always a plus. 95% lean ground beef is good to use when you're cooking your beef, ground beef, and using low-fat yogurt. You want to limit intake of fats and oils that are high in saturated and or trans fats like butter, sour cream, stick margarine, and many other processed foods. So there are a lot of options out on the market today when you're trying to substitute things like butter and sour cream or margarine, and there's plant-based options. So you can always give that a try and see how you like that. Or you can overall just cut the portion size of what the butter, sour cream, or margarine that you're using in the dishes that you prepare. And here is, again, just an idea of where to find, your total fat, saturated fat, and cholesterol, because it will be listed on those nutrition labels. And again, this is a nutrition label for macaroni and cheese, not the best, and it has a total fat of 12 grams, which is 18%, in 2 cup servings. Saturated fat is 3 grams, 15%, and the cholesterol is 30 milligrams, and that's 10%. So that's not the healthiest in relationship to the portion size as well. And you want to choose beverages and foods to moderate your intake of sugar. So high glycemic index diet, that is a diet that is high in refined sugar, is associated with an increased risk of cancers including ovarian, endometrial, breast, colorectal, pancreas, and lung. So again, if you see the words high glycemic index diet, that's a diet you want to avoid, because that is a diet that is usually high in refined sugars, okay, and they're associated with those certain cancers. You want to limit also your processed foods and refined sugars and emphasize eating whole grains. You want to choose and prepare foods with less salt, okay? And that's a big thing as well to look for. Some studies link eating large amounts of highly salted foods to stomach cancer. You want to cut down on processed foods, and you want to limit the use of the salt shaker. Sometimes we advise people to kind of take the salt shaker, if you have a salt and pepper shaker on your table, take that salt shaker and just put it up in the cabinet or just empty it to get used to eating less salt. Because there's some people, their taste palates, their taste buds almost crave salt, so they'll shake salt on a lot of things, even things that already have a high salt content in them. Preserved meat may increase your risk of colorectal cancer and stomach cancer, and that's preserved meats also include your deli meats. So, the lunch meat that you get at the deli counter, salamis, and some of those meats, they include things called nitrates that can be converted in the stomach to be carcinogenic, so that meaning something that can cause cancer and which may increase the risk of stomach cancer. Vegetables and fruits retard the conversion of nitrates that would cause stomach cancers, and just retard means it slows down or eliminates the conversion. So that's a good thing. That is good. If you drink alcoholic beverages, do so in moderation. Alcohol is associated with cancer of the mouth, the pharynx, and the larynx, so that's going down your throat, the very back of your mouth going down your throat, your esophagus, the lung, colon, rectum, liver, and breast cancer. So alcohol is associated with several different cancers. And then when you are drinking alcohol and smoking tobacco products or using tobacco products, your cancer risk appears to increase. Okay, so you want to always make sure that you are limiting alcoholic beverages, lowering your use of those, and we always encourage people to, if they're smoking, to quit, and they can gradually step down their smoking, or and we always encourage our youth, because smoking starts usually at an early age, to not smoke at all. And I think I got that through pretty quickly. I just think it's funny because when I'm not in front of people, I'm still getting used to this virtual. I stop for usually questions while I'm talking, or I can pick up on people's, just seeing people's faces in the audience. But it was a lot of information, so I'm glad that this has been recorded. But Katie, can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you.
Okay, and so I don't know if there's any questions.
I'm seeing two right now. And thank you for all that information. The first one I'm seeing is, what is a good amount of fiber in a serving?
I would say, I think I had it in the slide, because it depends, and I know you're asking this as an adult. Let's see, an adult serving of fiber. And I had my little cheat sheet with me, but I can't find it. Sometimes it's hard to keep all this information in my head.
Mm-hmm.
But let me look for it real quick. While I'm looking for it, you can ask me the other questions, but I can.
Okay. Are free radicals considered inflammation?
No. So free radicals may cause inflammation, but it's not specifically considered inflammation, no. But it may cause it, if that makes sense.
Okay, thank you. The next question I'm seeing is, how healthy are eggs? These people eat egglings best.
So eggs, and it depends on certain people's cholesterol levels, but eggs seem to be nutritionally a good protein. People that eat scrambled eggs or a boiled egg, I know people that eat a boiled egg every day, but you would really have to know your cholesterol levels. I know the yolk in the egg is what holds a lot of the cholesterol, and so some people just choose to eat egg whites, but I would really defer to your doctor on that.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
The next one I'm seeing are, so what are your thoughts about the Mediterranean diet?
The Mediterranean diet, I think that is one of the healthiest diets that you can follow. We have nutritionists here at Roswell Park that also endorse the Mediterranean diet. When we counsel some of our cancer patients about dietary changes and healthy lifestyles and incorporating different foods in their diet, we do defer. We do talk a lot about the Mediterranean diet. So I think if you're making even small adjustments, if you don't want to do the full kind of Mediterranean diet, using parts of it, using small adjustments like cooking with olive oil and eating they eat a lot of the fruits and vegetables and lean meats and fish. So it's good. It is good for you.
Okay, thank you. The next question I'm seeing is, dietary cholesterol more damaging than saturated fat?
And I would have to defer. I would have to look that one up. I don't want to give wrong information, and I feel that it has a relationship to do with also the amount, and I want to make sure I get specific information, so correct information. So I would definitely have to look that one up.
Okay. The next one I'm seeing is, are you concerned with the chemicals and carbs that replace the fat in low-fat, I think this is dairy products?
Could you just repeat that one? Am I concerned with the chemicals?
Yep, with the chemicals and carbs that replace the fat and low fat. This says daily products, but I wonder if it should be dairy products. Maybe not though.
When you're introducing any type of chemical additive to any food, that always raises a red flag for me. Any chemicals, even some food preservatives, some additives, that always raises a red flag for me. So not knowing exactly what you're talking about, but I would always do additional research and kind of talk to people to find out. But anything that the word chemical or additive, when you're talking about foods, natural foods, that does raise the red flag.
Okay, thank you. The last question I'm seeing right now is, does green tea have antioxidants?
It does, it does. I am actually a daily green tea drinker. I just drink it with no sugars or any additives to it. But green tea is something that is it's found to be, in research, found to be very helpful to the body. So that is, if that's something that you're looking to incorporate, because also you should, I talked in a previous presentation about increasing your water intake, and another way to increase your water intake overall is you can drink green tea. As I said, I don't add any sugars to mine, but it comes in a variety of different, flavors, citrus flavor, pineapple green tea. There's all different types of green tea. So it's something to give your taste buds something a little different or fun to drink. You can drink it cold or hot.
I'm a big tea drinker as well.
Mm-hmm.
We have a question. So the next question is, so what about eggs? I'm assuming that's asking if they also have antioxidants.
That I can honestly say I'm not sure if they have the antioxidant count or the amount of that's found in eggs. I know more about eggs for looking at cholesterol levels and as protein, but I don't know that answer offhand.
That's okay. I'm not seeing any other questions here, so I'm happy that if we want to end here, that's fine. And if we do get an answer for that fiber question, great. If not, that's okay. That person, if you want to email me, see if I can follow up with you about that.
Yeah, I will be able. I was trying to look it up right now, and I can't get to the website that I trust to give you the right information. So I will probably send that to you offline, and if you're able to just send that person an email, that would be great.
Yeah, absolutely. No, there's a lot of pressure when you're trying to search something and it's taking a little bit longer.
But I didn't want to leave anybody hanging, so.
No, that's good. So I'm not seeing anything else. Again, Nikia, I'm just really appreciative of your time, and everybody who's on here, thank you. And I will post this online when it's ready, and I'll share it with everyone. So I hope everyone has a really great afternoon. Thank you again.
Thank you again, Katie. It's good to be on with you.